Today we are talking about mixing, and more specifically mixing on headphones here in GarageBand on the iPad. So I'm going to take you through the gear that I use and the setup and the way that I approach my mixing here in GarageBand, because then we're going to crack on and mix my entire album of tracks here in GarageBand. Let's go. Hi, my name is Pete. This is Studio Live today, where I help you create, record, and release your best music. And I am right in the middle of, or just getting underway with my challenge here, where in the next 8 days I'm going to mix, master, and release my first full album consisting of tracks created 100% here in GarageBand iOS on the iPad and the iPhone. So what I have here is the setup. This is where I do a lot of my mixing and mastering, even when I'm using the iPad. So yes, I have all of this behind, but really it'll be focused here on the iPad. And I'm using my absolute favorite interface here, my Steinberg UR12, which is a great portable little interface. I talk about it a lot. There'll be links in the description if you want to find out, if you want to watch other videos about it and find out where you can pick one up if you are interested. But the reason I use this is that there's two things. Obviously, I can have my headphones plugged in straight in here and have it connected via USB. And I'm used to using this because if I want to do actual recording, I can do recording as well if I want to overdub some tracks. I won't be doing a lot of that or any of that in this video series, but I wanted to set up with this anyway, because the other advantage I have is that I can grab a cable here, an RCA to 1/4-inch cable, and I can output the stereo line out from the UR12 into my UR44 interface, which is sitting behind here, that's connected to my PC. And then I can actually record not only my voice and my commentary while I'm going through the mixing process, but the stereo output from the iPad. And that's something that would be very tricky. I'd need a headphone double adapter if I was using just my headphones, and the quality wouldn't be as good. So it's still going to be analog quality. So obviously what you hear as I mix through this series is going to be output from here, and it's going to be recorded, and it goes through a digital to analog back to digital conversion. So it's not going to be the pristine quality that I'm going to be hearing, or the hopefully pristine quality, or the good quality at least I'll be hearing straight from the iPad, but it will give you a better indication. And what I've been doing recently is a bunch of videos about screen recording. And the reason that I'm not going to use the screen recorder here is that I'm going to use a camera pointed at the screen and then the audio out from the screen, is that I want to actually show you what I actually do on the screen. And sometimes with the screen recorder, it's got a couple of problems. You can't actually see what I'm pressing or what I'm actually doing, because there's no way to record where I'm touching on the screen. So instead, it'll be my camera zoomed in on the screen for the most part, and I'll be going through what I'm doing right here on the iPad with a zoomed in camera. The other problem is that the screen recorder only records mono audio. It records it all on one channel. The reason it does that is it's got one channel for your audio from your iPad, the other channel for your voiceover. And I talk about this in some recent videos, which I will link up there and down there, which you can check out. But all in all, at the end of the day, what it means is that the setup I've got here is that I have my headphones, my Sennheiser HD280s, which are nice headphones for both tracking and monitoring, and for mixing and mastering as well. They're a good middle-of-the-road headphone, and once again, there's links in the description if you want to check these out in more detail or pick up a pair for yourself. I highly recommend them. I've been using them for years. They are still the original pair that I bought, so they haven't missed a beat. Definitely worth the investment. My Steinberg UR12, as I've mentioned, we'll be using there. I've just got a battery pack here just so I can maintain my portability. Maybe I'll go to some other places and do some of this at some stage throughout the process. Obviously my iPad Air 2, which is plugged in here via this little sucker here. So this is the Lightning to USB 3 adapter. So there's two different sorts. This one is the one that has the actual power connection as well, which means that we can keep the iPad charged if I had it plugged in, which I don't right now. And I've also got the Apple Lightning to USB regular camera kit adapter, which is exactly the same. It just doesn't have that additional power, the additional lightning port, so you can power up your iPad. Once again, I'll have those linked down in the description. So if you do need to, or are looking to pick up something like this, what this does is it allows me to connect any USB device that's compatible with my iPad. And once again, I've got a bunch of videos showing all about connecting different USB devices, everything from microphones to MIDI keyboards to USB audio interfaces, as we've done here. You can even connect a keyboard, like a QWERTY keyboard, if you want to go crazy and use that here in iOS. So That's very cool. That's just got a USB A to B cable that's connecting up to the interface there. And then, as I mentioned, so that you can actually hear what I'm doing, I'll be plugging this out and recording all of the audio over on my PC running Reaper, which is the recording software that I use and recommend on my PC. So this is my setup. This will be my home for much of the next week, while I'm doing this process, while I'm mixing and then mastering and then releasing. And obviously we'll be jumping onto the PC. Now, while we're talking about the PC, I've only released the introduction video, and I've already had a heap of feedback from people wondering how I'm going to do the mastering process and whether I do that on iOS in GarageBand, whether I use Final Touch, whether I use some other mastering and EQ and limiting plugins that are available in iOS, or whether I fall back on my comfort zone and master in Reaper. So I've already, as I said, I've already had some feedback about that. If you've got feedback about how I should be doing the mastering process, where you would like me to do the mastering, should I be doing everything in GarageBand, which has limited mastering capability? Shall I explore some other options? Could this be a bit of a trial and error with some of the other apps and some of the paid apps and plugins that perhaps we have? Or should we be doing it back on the PC here? If you want to chime in on that, then you can leave comments down in the description and let me know about that. So that is going to do it for this. I just wanted to show you the gear and the setup, and then when we return in the next episode, we'll be diving in and I'll show you how I've set up all of my tracks here. I've got them all ready to go in one folder here in GarageBand. So we'll jump in and take a look at that here in the next episode. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you then. Hey there, if you would like to check out some more content, there are 2 links down below. You can also subscribe to the channel by clicking on the Studio Live Today icon up in the top right corner. And you can also head over to studiolivetoday.com for more audio goodness.